Kestra 0.23 has just been released and there are a bunch of new features to make Kestra even better. The main star of the show is the brand new multi-panel and no-code editor. Now we've heard your feedback and seen that as the editor has expanded and become more powerful, the existing layout was just too restrictive. Now with the brand new multi-panel editor, you can now have multiple panels inside of your editor. So if you want to have 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns, you can do that. So great if you're someone who uses an ultra wide monitor where you want to be able to have everything visible at once. Now, the other perk of the multi-panel editor is you can now display different things in different places. So if you want to have your topology on the left and your flow code on the right, you can do that too. I'm curious to hear how you're going to use the multi-panel editor to help you write your workflows even more efficiently. And to go with the multi-panel editor, we've also got the brand new no-code experience. The new interface makes it much easier to build your workflows in no-code, as well as jumping between no-code and full code. As you can see, we've got a brand new UI which will allow you to select different properties that you would use to build a workflow. And as you edit these properties, they will be immediately reflected inside of your flow code. So if you've got them side by side like here, you'll be able to see those changes in real time, which makes it perfect if you want to be able to do most of your workflow in no code, but for some of the harder to configure things you might prefer to just do it in flow code, then you can do that too. This should help bridge the gap between business and technical users in building their own workflows. We can't wait to hear your feedback, so do let us know in the comments below or on our Slack community. Another big feature for Kestra 0.23 is the introduction of unit tests. Being able to validate your workflows is crucial, and the new unit test feature makes this super streamlined. Unit tests are defined in YAML, just like you would define a workflow, which makes it fairly familiar. And to go along with that, you can also mock certain tasks, which means that if you've got tasks that you don't want to have running during your tests, you just want to make sure the logic in the middle works, then you can mock those tasks so that the test works. We've got a dedicated video on how you can write your own unit tests and get started that I'd recommend checking out here. Staying on the trend of the UI, we've also introduced new UI filters to make filtering much easier. Now, your filters have been written in plain text, which allows you to build complex expressions for being able to get the exact filter that you need. But this can be complicated to write, so we've introduced a new UI that has an autocomplete engine to help you write these complex expressions. This should hopefully be more intuitive, but also allow you to make more powerful filters. Next up, we've also enabled outputs to be stored inside of the internal storage. By default, they are stored inside of the database, but if you're storing outputs that are large in quantity, then you might benefit from being able to store those inside of internal storage, such as an S3 bucket or something else. This also allows you to isolate those outputs from different business units and teams to make sure that the data doesn't get in the wrong hands. Another thing we've introduced is improved dashboard management. With the introduction of our custom dashboards in a recent release, we've made some improvements to make this experience even better. Now you can configure what the default dashboard on your homepage is, so you have control of what is displayed. This means you can now personalize your monitoring and operational view to your needs. We've also improved the way Python dependency management is handled inside of Kestra. Now we've got a brand new dependency property on Python tasks that allows you to specify the dependencies you want to install. Now, to make this even better, these dependencies are cached by default, which means that you should see performance improvements when you run multiple executions with Python tasks. And this isn't just for the same workflow, this works across multiple workflows using that dependency. If you're interested to learn more about how to get set up with this new dependency management, then I'd recommend checking out the dedicated video here. We've also added a few new tasks to our Git integration. Now you can push and sync your dashboards as well as your apps. You can now store all of this logic easily inside of a Git repository directly from inside of Kestra. You can set these up with a system flow to sync regularly so that you never lose any versions. Now, it wouldn't be a Kestra release without the introduction of a bunch of new plugins, and this release we've got an exciting lineup. Starting things off, we now have a Salesforce plugin. So if you now want to be able to query and write data to Salesforce, you can do that directly inside of Kestra. And to go along with that trend, we've also introduced a similar plugin for Hubspot. So if you're using Hubspot to manage a bunch of different companies, deals, and contacts, then you can now automate this process using Kestra. Now, if you're doing AI automation, we've got a bunch of new plugins to help you out. First things first, we've got an Ollama plugin now, so now you can run local large language models on a machine and automate that using Kestra. This now allows you to pull those LLMs into your local environment so that you can use them, as well as interacting with them via prompts. If you'd rather use an OpenAI model, we've just introduced a brand new task to the OpenAI plugin called Responses. This uses the Responses API that was introduced in March this year that is sort of a successor to the chat completion API that we were previously using inside of Kestra. We've also got a new plugin in beta for LangChain as well. So if you're looking to work with LLMs via LangChain, you can automate that with Kestra too. While this is in beta though, we'd love to hear your feedback, so do let us know in the comments below what you think and what you would like to see from the LangChain plugin in the future. If AI isn't your thing, but CI/CD is, we've just introduced 2 new plugins to make this easier. We've now got a GitHub Actions workflow plugin as well as a Jenkins one, both allowing you to start jobs from Kestra automatically. This means if you've got multiple systems across your organization and you want to be able to manage it centrally, then Kestra now supports this. And last but not least, we've now got official support for Go. We've now got 2 new tasks for being able to write Go, both with a dedicated file as well as inline, just like our other script tasks. So hopefully this should make writing Go inside of Kestra even easier, especially important considering the performance advantages you can get from using something like Go. Let us know in the comments below what you think of the release and what's your favorite feature. There is tons to take in here, so do spend some time reading the release notes on the website for further information. We'll also have a bunch of dedicated videos coming out over the next few days to help you learn about our brand new release.